welcome back to the Alyssa Bliss list. My name is Alyssa and today I'm going to be showing you my 2020 favorites. I'm going to be going all across the board, starting at eyeshadow and ending at primers. So if you want to see the products that I used most in 2020, keep watching and let's get started. Starting with eyeshadows, number 3 spot is going to have to go to the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. This palette is literally the palette I reach for most in terms of like my go-to everyday super quick makeup look kind of thing. It comes with a brush. I haven't really used the brush too much, but all of the colors are super gorgeous, super neutral. With this palette, you could create a look for going out. You could also create just a neutral everyday look. This is really one I grabbed for a ton, so it was a real struggle putting it in the number 3 spot. But yeah, this is one of my favorites for 2020. Taking the number 2 spot for my eyeshadow picks of this year is the Morphe x Maddie Ziegler palette. This palette I have absolutely fallen in love with. I can do colorful looks with it, I can do neutral looks with it, plus it has a mirror. Not quite as slim as the Naked 3 palette from Urban Decay, but it is still travel friendly, so I will definitely be keeping this for a while and I highly recommend. Now, securing the top spot is my favorite palette of all time. It is from the mother of all makeup, McGrath, the Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. The colors in this palette are absolutely stunning. The 6 on the left and the 6 on the right are from 2 of the Star Wars palettes that McGrath released, and then the 6 in the middle are originals for just this palette. Absolutely love the formula. I love how the colors come out. So pigmented, so beautiful. They blend so smoothly. Someone at Sephora spent probably like 40 minutes convincing me to get this palette. It was a little more than I wanted to spend, but there was a sale going on at the time. It was the VIB sale, and I'm so glad I bought it. I will own this palette for the rest of my life. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Cannot recommend enough. Now for eyeliner, I don't have too many options. I actually only put one on my list of favorites because I literally only use one. I've tried other ones and they just don't measure up to it. But my number 1 eyeliner for the year, surprise, surprise, is the Too Faced Better Than Sex Liquid Black Eyeliner. Not gonna say much about that other than the fact that I've used it in just about every look I've ever done and it never fails. Now mascara, there is a more level playing field. My number 3 pick for mascara is going to be the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes Waterproof Mascara. The wand is super skinny, which I really like. And it doesn't flake off through wear. It doesn't run when it gets wet. Yeah, number 3. Now my number 2 pick, it almost got to number 1, but I really just don't use it as much as my number 1 pick. My number 2 pick is going to be the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. I have a teeny tiny mini one. I got it in my Birchbox. I think it was like my first Birchbox that I got. And I really like this mascara because I really like to curl my lashes. And this one has a wand that is curled, so I don't really have to worry about that so much. It gives me great volume, it doesn't flake, and I am super happy with it. It almost took first place, but first place just has to go to my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I really like how this mascara applies, how it wears. I'm actually wearing it now, if you can't tell. I like the wand on this one best of all. It's just shaped different and it picks up a lot more mascara, I feel like, and it really elongates my lashes. It doesn't curl quite as good as the Benefit Roller Lash, but it definitely makes up for that in volume. Now for contour and bronzers. For contour and bronzers, I went back and forth so many times between number 1 and number 2 spot. I did just change my mind again, probably for like the 3rd time today. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the number 3 spot, and that would be the KVD Vegan Beauty Shade and Light Contour Kit. And yeah, you can get refills for these, which is super nice. I really like that palette. I do end up going with like not the shades that correlate with each other. I usually mix a few because I have a neutral undertone as opposed to a straight up pink undertone or a yellow undertone. It is a little more complicated in its application in that sense, and that's kind of why I put it at number 3. I did go back and forth on this so many times, but number 2 has to go to my Benefit Cheek Stars palette and the Hoola Light Bronzer. I really, for my contour bronzer, I just used the Hoola one. The Dallas one is a little too pinky in its application. So I kind of go between the Hoola Light and Hoola Bronzer, kind of mix them together on my face. And it gives a really nice glow. They smell amazing. Yeah, so that's my number 2. Highly recommend. My number 1 spot has to go to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Powder Kit in light to medium. As you can see, I get a little bit of use out of this one. Highly recommend. I think you can also get replacements for these because it has like the punch out holes in there. I use the middle 2 shades, and then sometimes if I'm looking for more of a highlight for the under eye, I mix these 2 shades right here. But for my contour and bronzer, I use just the middle shade. But yeah, number 1. Now my blushes, I do have 4 choices for this one. They're not really ranked in order of anything, but one of my favorites is definitely gonna be the Sugar Bomb blush from the Cheek Stars Reunion Tour palette. I really like that one. I feel like I get a lot of use out of it, and it's also super easy to use when I'm already going in with Hoola, or if I need the highlighter cookie, it's all in the same place, so it makes it super easy to use. My other favorites this year include the new Morphe Wonder Tint Cheek and Lip Mousses. One of them is the one from the Morphe 2 collection. It's in the shade Amaze. The other one is from the Morphe X Maddie Ziegler collection. It's in the shade Peach Out. Both shades really apply super well. You can apply them with a brush or your finger or both. And another thing about the cheek and lip mousses is that they don't only look great on cheeks, they look amazing on the lips. This blush that I really like, I didn't think I was gonna like this as much. I didn't use it for so long because I was like, I don't know. But I finally decided to use it probably 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and I've absolutely loved it. It is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Pool Party. And the colors are right there. It's actually for more deeper toned skin, surprisingly, but I use this shade right here. It's called Kash with a K. And I really, really like it. It applies very well. I never have to worry about patchiness. Yeah, I really like it. It's super compact too. I actually got it at TJ Maxx, I believe. Maybe it was Marshall's. It was a super great deal, and I thought it was worth a try. Now for brows. I'm gonna be showing you 4 of my favorite brow products today. Number 4 product that I'm gonna show you is the Benefit Gimme. Whoa, what happened to this? Something happened to this in my drawer. Don't really know what, but it is like, it's all like flaking off. That's really weird. I've never had that happen to me before. Anyways, my number 4 product on my list for brow products is the Benefit Gimme Brow Plus in the shade 4.5. I really like this brow gel. It's very close to my actual eyebrow color. The spoolie is super good too. It is a great product. Highly recommend. It also looks fantastic with the Benefit Precisely My brow pencil. I actually ran out of this one, but that's what the tip looks like. It's super skinny. You probably can't even see it, but it gives you very fine lines, and that is super good for doing your brows. I love these products and highly recommend to anyone who's looking for great brow products. My next 2 products I'm going to show you are the ColourPop Brow Boss. The ColourPop Brow Boss in the shade Brunette is literally the perfect color for me. It's exactly my shade. Can you guys see it? Yeah. And it's got a spoolie on the end, which Precisely My Brow said it would, and it didn't. I think they do make one with a spoolie on the end. This one didn't come with it. And then what I use with the ColourPop Brow Boss is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. It really gives your brows that extra definition. I'm actually wearing the ColourPop Brow Boss in the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel right now. So yeah, that's brows. For powders, I'm not really gonna go too deep into that. I literally only use 2 different powders. I use the Morphe Bacon Set translucent setting powder and then the Hourglass Veil translucent setting powder. I'm not really gonna go into powders too much because I only use 2 and I kind of just go back and forth. I do think that the Hourglass Veil is higher quality, but they both do essentially the same job for me. The Hourglass is also slightly darker, I think, than the Morphe one, but they're translucent, so it's not too big of a deal. Just want to let you guys know that these aren't necessarily all products that came out in 2020, as much as they're just products that I really used a lot in 2020. Some of them did come out this year, some of them didn't, just keep that in mind. And now we are on to highlighters. My number 3 spot for my highlighters is going to be the Benefit Cookie Highlighter, and that's this one right at the top here. I really like that highlighter. It's definitely more of a glittery highlighter. My number 2 spot for highlighters goes to, I really struggled with this one, but my number 2 spot goes to the Soph X Revolution highlighter palette. And honestly, most of those shades I can use, except I can't really use that shade. It's a little dark for me, but they also apply to the face very nicely. Definitely go and pick this up. It's worth I think it's like $8 or something. Maybe it's $12. I don't know, but it's worth it. And then my number 1 spot has to go to the Ofra Rodeo Drive Highlighter. I got this in one of my Ipsy offers kind of thing, where it was only, I think it was like $10 for this one. And normally I think it's $30, but man, that is amazing. Now for foundations. If you asked me 2 weeks ago what my favorite foundation was, the one that's my absolute favorite wouldn't even be in the top 5. My number 3 spot, and it's literally only because it's a shade slightly too dark for me, is the Morphe 2 Hint Hint Skin Tint in the shade Hint of Cream. And I really like this. It's a water-based one, and yeah, it's got a little dropper. It's actually pretty good coverage for being super light coverage, and it doesn't crease. What foundation doesn't crease? Not many. In my number 2 spot, I absolutely love this foundation. It's just so much more expensive than the other ones in the selection. It is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. It's got a pump on it. I love the smell of it. It always smells fresh. I wore it to the zoo one day and I didn't have a problem with it the whole day. I would wear it every day if it wasn't so expensive. And my number 1 spot, I actually didn't try this until like a couple of weeks ago, and I saw everyone on TikTok trying it, everyone on Instagram trying it, and I was like, okay, fine, I have to try it. Is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Hydrating Foundation. And oh my god, have I tried a better foundation? I don't think so. I think it's $16. The ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation is definitely, it steals the show. It's my number 1. Now for concealers. For concealers, I picked out 3 concealers to show you guys. My favorite one of the 3, you can't really buy anymore, so I was like debating whether or not to include it, but I decided to. My number 3 pick for my concealers is the Tarte C Hydro Sealer. I like it a little better than the Shape Tape because it's a lot lighter. It doesn't crease as much. I have it in the shade Fair Neutral. I use it more so under the Morphe Hint Hint Skin Tint because it's so lightweight. My number 2 pick for concealers, I actually sometimes wear this as foundation too. Maybe I should just try the foundation because they have a foundation. But the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, I have it in the shade Swan. It's a multi-use sculpting concealer. And I'm actually running out because I've used it so much. It's got like an angled kind of applicator. It gives a super smooth finish, which I really like. My number 1 pick, it's the one I struggled to actually put in because they don't really sell it anymore. My number 1 pick is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I have it in the shade Fair Warm, which I don't know if that's the actual shade, that's just what it says on the bottom. The applicator is kind of like a flathead applicator. It dries so well. I'm wearing it now and it doesn't really crease. Yeah, I hope they bring it back. And now for my lip products, my favorite lip product of 2020. I I have 3 of them. My number 3 spot has to go to the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the shade Catherine. It's almost red, but not quite red. It's a really fun pink color, and it really makes like blue and green eyeshadow looks pop. I wore it in a few of my looks for my Taylor Swift challenge that I did a little while back, and yeah, it is just an absolute stunner. My number 2 pick for lips has to be the Morphe 2 Wonder Tint Cheek and Lip Mousse that I mentioned before in blushes. And this one just applies so smoothly, and it's super helpful whenever your lips directly match your blush. On top of that, I almost always add the Morphe 2 Glassified Lip Oil to kind of just give it that extra shine. But don't use too much of this, because this is a dangerous thing when you use too much. Be careful. But it's amazing. And my number 1 spot, which absolutely shocked me because I normally go with 2 other Morphe lip products before this one, but this one I've just been reaching for so much the last couple months, and it is the Morphe X Madison Beer lip gloss in the shade Venus. It smells beautiful, just like all the other Morphe lip glosses and liquid lipsticks. Kind of like a muddy rose color. Anyways, I'm wearing it right now and it looks really good. It's just that extra little like tint, I guess you would call it. You can give your lips whenever you're wearing like a neutral or soft glam look. And the last products I'm going to talk about are my favorite primers of 2020. Starting with 3rd place, I have the Fenty Beauty Soft Silk Pro Filter Hydrating Primer. It goes super well under that. It doesn't give you like a pinky glow or anything. It just makes your skin look very luminous. It smells just like the foundation. It's got a little pump and everything. Applies very smooth. Really like it. It's a yes from me. My number 2 was my number 1 for so long. My number 2 has to be the First Aid Beauty Pores Be Gone Matte Primer. And it's got fig extract. The only reason that I put it at number 2 is it's not as gripping as my number 1 primer, but it still is absolutely amazing at minimizing pores, and it smells delicious. Yes, it's a yes for me. And my number 1 spot, I'm almost out of it, has to go to the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. It's almost gone now. You can see the bottom of it. You can see through the bottom of it. I use it under the look that I'm wearing now. It really just gives you that extra glow, even though your foundation kind of covers it up. It gives you that extra glow and grip that those other 2 primers don't necessarily have. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. And in the comments, let me know any of your thoughts, or just like, let me know if this is the kind of video you'd like to see on my channel. I'm wishing you all a happier 2021, Happy New Year's, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.